Hey everyone. So I did a video on this yesterday, but for whatever reason, because algorithms are weird, I don't feel like my video really got pushed out to very many people, and I feel like this is an important topic, so I figured I would just go ahead and go live with it. Oh, silence that bad boy. So talking about forbearance or foreclosure, if you or anyone that you know is in the situation where you feel like you're falling behind on your payments, or maybe you're not behind yet, but you feel like things are just getting tighter and tighter and you're really concerned about where the extra money for the payment's going to come from, what I would love to do is just have an upfront conversation with you. Know that it would be 100% confidential. I want to be able to help you beforehand rather than getting a call too late. And I've had both of these calls lately. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I was being transparent and offering my services, so that hopefully we can get in front of someone that may be having a hard time. If that's you or someone that you know and you feel like your mortgage is starting to overwhelm you and you don't know what your options are, just know that you do have some options. Whether you are already behind on some payments or you're not, there are some things that we can take a look at. And then we do have access to like financial advisors and stuff too that can look at like your overall financial stuff. But I can specifically help you with your mortgage things or connect you to a mortgage lender if that's what we need. So whether it's me or someone on my team, we can make sure that we at least present you with all of your options, and then you can decide what makes the most sense for you. But I think that there are some things that people don't even know are available. So they get overwhelmed, they get behind, and we all know once you get behind on something, it just snowballs and it becomes more and more, and it's really hard to get caught up. So if you are in that situation, or you're fearful that you're going to be, or that you know anyone in that situation, you do have options, and we can take a look at who your specific lender is. But one of my clients here just a couple weeks ago called me, totally confidential, and she just let me know, hey, we're not behind yet, but I have a feeling next month is really going to be a struggle. We may not be able to make the whole payment. Is there anything we can do? We don't want to lose our house. Now for them specifically, they haven't been in their home very long. They're just at that 2-year mark, and so because of that, they don't have a ton of equity built up yet. So if you've been in your home over 5 years, you probably have equity built. That 3 to 5 year mark, you probably have something, unless you overpaid for it at the time that you bought it, which we can look into that. But if you've been in your home more than 3 years, especially closer to that 5+ mark, then you probably have equity, and we might be able to do like a HELOC where you pull out some equity to get caught up, or refinance you and pull some money out, or whatever that may look like. So if you have equity, that's best case. We can do something with that for sure. But also just know that if you don't take care of it, just because you have equity doesn't mean that you're going to get that back if you do go into foreclosure. I think that a lot of people assume that, hey, if I have $50,000 in equity, and I don't reach out to anyone, I don't get any help, then, the bank takes my house, whatever, I suffer in silence, but I'll get the money back that doesn't get eaten up by bank fees. And honestly, that's just not how it works. If you see anything, it's going to be really minimal, because the bank is going to be charging a lot of fees for the foreclosure. They can continue to charge you those fees until it resells. So there's just a lot involved. So please do not leave it up to the bank or your lender to provide you with your equity that you've worked really hard for. Definitely talk to someone that has your best interest, and that is definitely me. I will help you look at what's going on and what makes the most sense for you, and then you can make that decision. What I don't want is for you to call me and you're already so far behind that you're in foreclosure, because once you're in active foreclosure, then we are on a really tight timeline. And so then it's a lot harder for us to try and get the home sold before it's in full-blown foreclosure, or before it's a short sale. So let's look at it beforehand, if at all possible. Still reach out no matter what stage you're at, but the sooner the better. I actually had a client reach out because they were behind just on their HOA dues. They were in a condo, and they made their payment every month, but they actually hadn't been able to make their HOA payment every month for it was like almost like 18 months. It was a very long time. And the HOA payment was like $500 a month, but their mortgage payment was like 3 grand, and so together that's very expensive. And they were able to pay the mortgage, but they weren't able to pay the HOA. And by the time that they actually reached out, unfortunately, the house was already in foreclosure and was actually going to be auctioned like within 24 hours. So there was really nothing that we could do at that point, and it just broke my heart because they had enough equity that they absolutely could have pulled that and got caught up on the HOA fees, to where then they could have kept that. But instead, they completely lost all of their equity. And not to mention the fact that obviously it's a blemish on your credit, and then you have to work to dig out of, like, it's a snowball effect, right? When you get behind in finances. And I'm really passionate about what I do. I don't want anyone to be in that situation. If you are a homeowner and you have been paying your payments and for whatever reason now you can't, let's just talk about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. There's a lot of people struggling right now. That's why I wanted to make this video, because I really want to make sure that if you are in a position to take advantage of the equity that you have to fix it, or maybe we do need to sell, let's at least get it sold, see if we can make you something. Something is better than nothing, or honestly, even just breaking even is better than giving it to the bank. It's better on your credit, and there's other pros involved. So let's talk about it. The other thing, so for this client that got a hold of me a week or two ago and let me know, like, hey, we're not actually behind, but we're feeling like we're close. They've only been in their home going on 2 years. And so they really just don't have enough equity to, if we sell, they're not going to make anything. They might actually even owe, because they did the first time home buyer program. So they actually have like a second silent, no interest, $15,000 loan that was their down payment. And so when you do that, when you take advantage of that, you have to pay that back when you sell or refinance. So for them, they have about $10,000 or $15,000 of equity, but it would literally be a wash because of that program. So not to say that's a bad thing, it's just they're really early in the game, so it doesn't make sense for them. So I started doing more research with their specific lender, and there was 2 options. So option number 1, because they're not actually behind, is they are talking to their lender about a forbearance. So a lot of you guys may be familiar with that term, but maybe don't know exactly what it is. That term was thrown around a lot during COVID for forbearance, but I will tell you that there's different types of forbearance programs. And so I would love to, again, have a conversation and help coach you through how to have the proper conversation, because the lender doesn't want to have this conversation with you. They don't really want to help you. They don't mind if you lose your house. That sucks to say, but it's just not their top priority. They just want to get paid. And so they are just looking at the numbers. They're not looking at the person that's in the house. I will help look at you and your family, and we'll figure out what's the best for you. So if you are going to apply for forbearance through your lender, let me just give you a quick crash course of like the main points to hit so that you get connected with the right people, and I can explain how to say the right things, so that you can actually get the correct forbearance program. Because what you don't want, because what happened during COVID a lot, is people were taking advantage of forbearance, and they would have like 6 months of not having to pay their mortgage. I'm just throwing that out as an example. But then they were having to make all of that up within 12 to 18 months. If you're already behind, how in the world are you going to come up with thousands and thousands, $25,000 to $50,000 that you didn't pay in your mortgage for the 3 to 6, 8 months, whatever, within a year to year and a half? It just doesn't make sense. It's not setting you up for success. So what you specifically have to ask for and push for is you have to push for them to take whatever discount, because sometimes they'll discount you. They'll say, we'll pay what half your mortgage is, or they will allow you to not pay it at all for a certain amount of time. So whatever that looks like, insist that that gets added on to the end of your loan. So if you have a 30-year loan and you've paid 25 years, if they give you 6 months, then make them add that to the end of your loan, so that then it actually gives you a financial break that you're not going to have to pay back right away. Right? So that would be the first step, is to push for that. If you are already behind in some payments, then what we can push for is actually a loan modification. So I don't know how many of you guys have heard of this, but what a loan modification is is where you can actually, let's say you have a 30-year mortgage, you can actually have them look at it and maybe change it to a 35 or 40-year mortgage. And what that does, because they're stretching out the loan, right, adding so many months and years on, that it's going to make your payment significantly less. Now, people are already going to come at me in the comments, I know, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we don't want to add an extra 10 years to our mortgage. The most important thing right now, if you're struggling to pay your mortgage, is to keep you in your house, because you are still going to be gaining, on average, is 3 to 4% equity minimum every year that you're in your house. So let's get you to keep your house and get you back on track with your payments, do whatever we need to do with forbearance or loan modification or whatever that looks like. And then we can refinance you out of it. No problem. In 5, 10 years, before the 30, 40-year mark, for sure, right? The average person only stays in their house 7 years. So don't panic about stretching it out if it allows you to have a better monthly payment that makes it affordable so that you can live and keep your house. That is the most important thing, I assure you. So if this sounds like something that you are struggling with, or that you're silently struggling with and you haven't even told anyone, because again, I know that this is not something anyone wants to talk about. Nobody goes into purchasing a home and expects to not be able to pay their mortgage. So I totally understand where you're coming from. You're not the only person. Like I said, I've had multiple clients reach out to me, and I'm so glad that they have a relationship with me, that they've been able to reach out. That makes me really, really happy. I'm really, really glad that I can help those people, at least give them their options, right? And so that's what I want to be for you guys, is just a resource for that. And I will help you look at everything. I will help you kind of with like a script of what to say to your bank or your lender or whatever it looks like, so that we can keep you in your home. That is the most important thing. Or if we are in the absolute worst case scenario, and we are out of options because maybe we're too far past that point, then we can talk about, do we need to sell your home? But even with that, we don't want to have to rush to sell your home. So sooner is better, because again, we don't want you in full-blown foreclosure where then all those fees are going to start stacking up and then you don't get any of your hard-earned equity. So if you guys are in this situation, or you're fearful of going to be in this situation, or you know anyone that maybe they haven't said anything, but maybe they've lost a job, or maybe they're no longer getting overtime when they were, or whatever it is, just check on your friends and family, because a lot of people are struggling financially right now. I mean, we all know with gas prices, grocery prices, everything, right? And so it's not seldom that we're seeing these problems. It's actually more common than people want to acknowledge, and they never want to say, hey, it's me that's struggling. But honestly, your future self will thank you if you reach out and get help, and we get you in a better situation to where you can either keep your house or cash in on your equity before foreclosure. So please, if you know anyone that you think may be struggling, or if you yourself are struggling, please reach out to me. Know that it's confidential. I would never share anyone's personal information. I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable, and just know that I totally feel for you. I'm a very empathetic person. It makes me want to cry when I hear people saying that they feel like they can't afford their homes. So if that is you, if that is someone you know, please reach out to me. Me and my team have a lot of resources, and I'm not even gonna go to that step until I just one-on-one have a conversation with you, and we'll figure out what the plan is. We'll figure out what you're comfortable with. We'll figure out who you are okay with me bringing in to try and come up with a plan. I will take all of those cues from you. So don't think that I'm going to go behind your back and try and do anything or anything like that. This is super confidential. At least you owe it to yourself to have the conversation to see what we can do for you, if there's something that can be done. And most of the time there is. So if you're behind on payments, or you know someone that's behind on payments, let me help you help your future self and keep that hard-earned equity. All right, you guys, like, comment, and share this video. I would really appreciate it, because hopefully then I will get in front of the people that really need it. And I hope that if I know you personally, or you've just been watching my videos, I hope that you really understand that I truly am invested in what I do, and it really means a lot to me. I'm very passionate about who I help and their financial futures. And so please reach out to me. I really hope we have that trust and understanding, and if we don't, then I hope we can work on that, so that in the future I can help you as well. So, all right, you guys, if you have any other questions about foreclosure, forbearance, loan modifications, short sales, anything like that, please, please, please let me know. All right, you guys, enjoy the sunshine. It's beautiful out.